My man Jayc. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, Dakota. Pretty darn good. And what about yourself?
Going pretty good. A full day of work. I know it's not even day anymore for you. The call, right?
Well, no, it's 12:15 in the morning.
Ooh, man, that's rough. That's rough.
Oh, look, I have calls because I've got people all around the world, or clients all around the world for my coaching. I will do calls at 2 a.m. if I have to.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I've had calls at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. But then I don't have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, if I'm going to have a call at 4 a.m. or 2 a.m., I won't get up at 7.
That makes sense.
I need my beauty sleep.
Exactly. That's what I'm worried about. That's why my face is like, wait a minute.
Look, when you're in demand, when people have busy lives.
I agree.
And the more flexible and the more you go with the flow, the more you receive, the more you achieve, and the more that the universe can provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people stick to this. Well, we're brought up, if you think about it, when you're at school, you go to school at this time, you eat at this time, you poop at that time, you then eat at this time, you might poop again, you eat, and then you go home. It's a strict timeline. Even when I was in the corporate world, a long time ago, I would have to be at work at 8:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And I remember one boss, if you were not in the office at 8:30, well, actually, you had to be at least 5 minutes earlier, because if you weren't there at 8:30, you would be in trouble. Even if you were there at 8:31, or you stopped to make a coffee before you walked into the office, you'd be in trouble. Micromanaged.
Micromanagement.
But that's fitting into a box, and we're not here to fit into boxes. There's only one box we're meant to fit into, and that's when we die. That's the only box you're meant to fit into. Everyone tries to put me in a box, and it's funny because I stand in that box, I then get up and I jump into 14 other boxes. And they go, but.
Tell me more about that, because I know what you do, and you do a lot. So I get the analogy, but just explain to the audience what you mean by what's in those other boxes.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do the normal stuff first.
All right.
Okay. I've had an IT background since the beginning of the 1990s. So I was running large computer networks, managing huge networks with, well, actually, I used to have a Novell CNA and then a CNE. I was a certified Novell administrator and then a certified Novell engineer. Oh, God, that goes back a long time. I forgot about those. And then Windows NT came out, and I got my Microsoft certification. So I've got this very strong computer geek networking background.
Okay.
And since then, I've done a lot of business design and automation implementation for companies all over the world. And so I've streamlined systems, I've implemented document management solutions, and designed all sorts of things, project managed multi-million-dollar contracts in the IT industry. I was training manager in charge of 200 staff on one contract where we had to train, well, they couldn't give us the exact number of people. It was a government department, and they had between 25,000 and 40,000 staff. But they didn't know, because they had 3 payroll systems, and not one person had access to the 3 payroll systems, and they couldn't get the reports out of the payroll systems to say how many people they actually had.
That sounds complicated.
Well, it was ridiculous. And this is a major government department.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, so that project was to teach up to 40,000 people in a 3-month period. Insane what we had to do.
How did you manage
But that's why I had 200 staff and it took me 12 months to plan. Because I had to get all my 200 staff prepared, their timing, 450 officers all over the country. So from an IT perspective and project management perspective, it was huge. And I ended up with the only department who had the highest customer satisfaction rating.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All those little moving parts to be able to still, at the end of the day, have high customer satisfaction, was just pay attention to small details.
Well, that was the company's mission statement. Their number 1 mission statement was customer satisfaction. Their number 2 was profit.
Gotcha.
Because if you don't have customer satisfaction, you don't get profit.
Gotcha.
So, you know, so from that side of things, you know, I've got all this geeky stuff, and then I've been running web design companies for the last 10 plus years, doing internet marketing, running an affiliate marketing launch that we did $1 million in a day with some of the big names. That was an education. Big education. I've put in place systems, I've designed business systems for people online that make them $250,000 a year in residual income. Yeah, we sold video marketing back in 2008, I think it was, and I taught 300 people how to create YouTube channels.
In 2008, you said?
Yeah, back when YouTube was the wild, wild west.
Yeah, it's first beginning, yeah?
Yep, we were charging $5,000 a pop.
For video?
For the training.
For the training on how to
do it. And I was coaching people on their camera presence, on their scripting.
There's a lot that goes into video. There's sound, there's video, there's the actual talent yourself.
Yep. Lighting, location, everything. And I remember one lady, she loved to script. I am reading my script and I can only...
It's not authentic. It's not authentic.
So, you know, fun things like that. So I'm going to say that's the normal stuff. And then there's the woo-woo stuff.
Okay, let's get into that.
So brace yourself, because I discovered I was psychic when I was 10 years old. And I was at the funeral of my 10-year-old cousin. He had a hole in his heart and he died. Back then, they couldn't operate. And so I'm at his funeral. I throw the rose onto his coffin as it's being lowered. I'm 10. He was my best friend. So I go running inside the community hall because the whole community was there. And, you know, they got the catering tables with the big white aprons around them to hide the legs of the tables. And there's lots of food. I go under one of the tables and I'm sitting there crying. And I open my eyes and he's sitting next to me. Well, his ghost was. And I could see him as pretty much as well as I can see you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was, and he said, you have a gift, you have an ability. People won't understand it for a long time. Just don't let them stop you. And so I ran out, told my mum, and she said, yes, dear, he's in your heart. Of course you see him.
Okay.
And that stopped me, didn't it?
I was just thinking
until my early 20s.
I was just thinking about like how that relates to like when people have gifts, maybe not as esoteric as that, but just regular gifts of being able to help somebody to do better or just being a positive presence in people's lives, or the gift of you playing a sport or playing an instrument. And there's a lot of little obstacles or things that other people could tell you to be like, it'll stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, because we listen to other people. Now, I was brought up to listen to everybody else's opinion about me.
Mm.
And that was probably the biggest mistake my parents could ever give me. And so it wasn't until my early 20s that I started embracing my abilities. And I call them abilities more than a gift. Because when you say, especially in the spiritual world, that it's a gift, people want it for nothing. They don't believe there's an energy exchange. And I'm very giving. I give. But I have a roof over my head. That costs money.
Mm.
The tea that I'm drinking, it costs money. The meal I had for dinner tonight, it cost money.
Mm.
And so all too often in this world, the belief is, oh, you have a gift, then you have to give it for free. Oh, you'll get money. The law of attraction will bring you money. Yeah, it brings you money because you have the ability to do things in order to receive. And one of those abilities happens to be these abilities. Now, in 2012, I was invited to come to Ukraine, which is where I'm now living, which is why it's midnight. And I was invited to represent Australia on the TV show Bitva Extrasensitive, which stands for Battle of the Psychics. Now, while I was on the show, we had 13 episodes. We were competing against people from some of the best psychics and mediums in the world, from the UK, USA, Canada, Russia, Ukraine, of course, some other countries around Europe. And I was here for 6 months filming. We did 13 episodes, and I solved murders, other criminal activities, some mystical stuff, and also was able to show the producers what these abilities really can do. Now, I ended up in the top 4 at the end of the year, and we had an audience of 34 million. We were number 2 in the ratings to a tiny little TV show. You might have heard of it, X Factor. Yeah. So we were on the main TV channel here, one of the main TV channels, and its number 1 show was X Factor, and we were number 2.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So for the first 3 months while we're filming, we're not on air. So I'd walk around Kiev totally anonymous. Then on October 7, we went live on air. That next week I'll never forget, because as I walk down the street, people are I started getting the celebrity treatment. And I always remember Euro football was on, and I'm at a hotel. We're going to do some advertising. We're going to film the ads for the show. And I'm sitting at the reception area on a couch, and the makeup girl's putting makeup on me, getting rid of the shine.
Got you.
And I'm sitting there, okay? I'm getting makeup on. 3 busloads of soccer players, big, muscly, manly soccer players from all over Europe, come walking past me while I'm getting my makeup done. What a macho man I felt.
That's some contrast for you.
But the reason I tell this story is we went upstairs to the atrium. I did my advertising moment, took my microphone and earpiece off for my translator, off, handed it back to the sound man. Now I walk off. Next thing you know, I'm surrounded by footballers. Now, these guys are famous in their own right. They're the top football players in their countries. They are celebrities in their own right. And they all want photos with me. They all want my autograph. They were all excited to see me. It was my first real, I'll call it a Brad Pitt moment.
Gotcha.
Because I was suddenly treated differently.
How does that transition feel inside?
Well, I'm a humble person. I was always brought up, be humble. Don't be egoistic. But what I realized was it's not about being humble and it's not about being ego. It's about being authentic. Because when you're authentic, you can celebrate your success. And you can embrace and honor your failures. And you can see the lessons in both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember walking around one of the small cities here, and I was looking, actually, my partner at the time, we were looking for things for her. And we're in a shop, in a woman's shop, and one of the ladies from one of the other shops in the complex was standing at the door watching us. And I turned to my partner, I said, we've been spotted. So we went over, we spoke to her. Next thing you know, we're back at this lady's shop and she has these beautiful cashmere scarves. Because winter here is ridiculously cold, usually with snow. We haven't got any snow at the moment. Doesn't look like there's going to be any snow until mid-January, which is really, really weird.
Weird, yeah.
Really, really weird. So she unwraps the scarf that I had on, this woman who owns the shop, picks up this beautiful cashmere scarf, wraps me in it, and goes, "Пожалуйста," which means Russian for please. She gave it to me as a gift. Just for talking to her, taking time out to honor and respect her. And I'm standing there going, huh? That's really cool. It was lovely to be appreciated. It was totally unexpected. Now I know why people in Hollywood want to be famous, because they want all the freebies.
Freebies.
But do you know the one thing that I do? I give my time freely to those who need it. Yes, I charge. But there are people out there that can't afford to pay anything. Here in Ukraine, for example, the average salary is $150 a month. Now, for the amount of domestic violence that happens here, the amount of poverty, every day when I walk past the rubbish bins, you'll see people going through our bins of the complex that I'm in. And they're looking for food, they're looking for things to sell, they're looking for recycling products that they can make some money from. And when you see those sorts of people, you've got to honor and respect them because they're struggling. And so for most of the people here in Ukraine, I give my time freely. But for those in, we'll call them the first world countries, the bigger countries who have the salaries, I charge them a fair amount for the value that I give. Not for my time, for the value. Because it's a matter of honoring the ability to contribute to society. And it's funny, this whole topic of payment. I haven't spoken like this on any of the interviews that I've done in the last few years. This is the first one. And remember, as we said before we went live, what topic will this be? Well, it's all about valuing yourself. It's all about honoring yourself. It's about being authentic. It's about giving to those that need it the most, and allowing those who have the ability to provide to you, be open to receiving it, and receive it with the love and gratitude.
Yes.
Because every time I receive $1, I am grateful for it. I show gratitude for it. I show gratitude that I have this yummy cup of tea. Have gratitude for every moment. I'm grateful for where I live. I'm grateful for the people that I've had exposure to. I have touched families in here, and it's funny. I'll have people come up to me and go, "You're amazing." Excuse me, have we met? No, I saw you on TV. I had a person messaging me on Saturday, someone added me as a friend, saying, "I saw your show, I voted for you." Now, the voting was SMS, and it was less than $1 a vote, but this person voted for me. And she said, "I loved what you did. You were the most authentic person on the show. I really liked you as a person."
That's sweet.
And that's somebody I do not know. I've never met.
Yeah.
When you realize you can touch people's lives by just being your authentic self, it's a wonderful experience. People ask me, "Why are you still in Ukraine? Isn't it dangerous?" Well, actually, no. I feel more safer here than I have in many countries. Yes, there are tourist scams like there are in every country. But I'm not a tourist. I live here. I'm a resident. I'm part of the society here. And it makes a difference when you integrate yourself with your society, with your community. I love being able to help the families here. And I've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds here. Like I said, the domestic violence here is just really heartbreaking. But it's nice to make an impact, have a legacy. I know one of my legacies is the lives I've touched here in Ukraine. But guess what? My show is on the Russian cable network worldwide.
Wow.
Now I've got over 100 million Russian-speaking people around the world who have seen my show. I had a goal. I wanted to be able to speak my words and have at least 1 million people hear them. Well, I did Bitfacts that are censored, and then I did another show called Investigation Leading Psychics, where I which means psychic investigations. The translation from Ukrainian to English is Investigations Leading Psychics. So it's psychics leading the investigation.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I just normally call it psychic investigations. I did 16 episodes. 16. We had murders, we had suicides, we had rituals, we had mysterious things, rape and murder. This is my book. Jayc Ryder, a real psychic medium on reality TV. It's my diary. It basically tells the story of every show every episode where I'm legally allowed to. And so, you know, that was really healing for me, writing that, because of the things I saw. Do you want to hear some of the stories, or do you have any questions?
I mean, I'm just letting you flow. I love would love to hear some stories.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's see what jumps out. Oh, yes, that was a sad story. All of them are sad stories. Love will get you killed. That was a couple found dead of carbon monoxide poisoning in a car. It was a drug deal gone wrong. Another story, face down in the garden, a young guy loved doing parkour on the roof of the building. So, you know, he jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and stands on the edge and balances. Well, that night he was on the roof with his girlfriend, who happened to be married to somebody else. And he stood on he was running around going from the parts of the roof. And then he stood on the edge and he goes, "Look at me." And because he'd been drinking and he had a health problem, he had a brain aneurysm, died instantly, and then pancaked.
Wow.
10 stories.
So in that story, what was your role?
Well, we had to identify what actually happened, because nobody would say that they were on the roof. The girlfriend said no, she was trying to argue she wasn't there. And the family wanted closure. Most importantly, the family wanted closure. And when the body was found, he was pancaked.
Right.
Face down. So normally if you're going to suicide, terrible topic, but if you're going to suicide, you jump. As you fall, you realize, you go into shock, and you try to protect yourself. He didn't do anything to try to protect himself. He was found pancaked, basically. And they couldn't understand why he was found like that. And because when you hit like that, all your organs explode, everything explodes inside you, like balloons bursting. It means in an autopsy time, they couldn't identify the brain aneurysm. He was dead before he hit the ground. You know, so we had to identify what happened beforehand. And it was funny because we were on the roof of the building and we're filming, and it's about 9:30 at night, it's dark, and we kept blowing the light system, because our lights that we had on, we kept blowing them up because of the energy work that we were doing, calling on him to get the answers.
Wow.
We had another story, was a mama was found in the old cemetery, and her body had been on fire from here to here. Cut a long story short, her second daughter, the boyfriend, his brother, and the mother struggled, and she got stabbed accidentally. It was an accidental death. And they were so afraid of being accused of murder, because the young brother was only just 18. So he would have gone to jail and been tried for murder. And so the older brother tried to protect him. So they took the body into the forest, The mother was now missing for a few days. That's my cat. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, so the mother was missing for a few days. The girlfriend, the second daughter, she was distressed, so she talks to her boyfriend who knows what happened. They then go into the forest, they get the body, they take it to the old abandoned cemetery in the middle of the fields, and because it was in a farming district. And they set fire to the body to hide the stab wound. I got the older brother to admit what actually happened on the show.
Wow.
Because I told him what happened, and he couldn't understand how I could know that. And this is the thing that with the woo-woo stuff, you see the skeptics out there, and they talk about, oh, you stalked somebody on Facebook, that was reported in the news, that's public knowledge. You know, the work that we were doing here in Ukraine, those facilities aren't available. There is no such thing as that public knowledge here. My cat is now misbehaving because she wants attention. Bless her. So, you know, you don't get that level of information here. You can't fake it here. You have to do the real stuff. That's why I called my book A Real Psychic Medium on Reality TV.
Wow.
I had another story. I'll just give you one more story. Mama, Papa, and Babushka, grandma, came to visit. They were speaking Russian. My partner was speaking Russian and translating for me. They said our 18-year-old daughter was killed by a train. So I do what I do, and I said, she's telling me her feet. She says her feet are important. I don't know why she's telling me her feet are important. The mother and father burst into tears. Babushka's looking at them going, he just said feet. What? Why are you crying? When they recovered the body after it had been hit by the train, the body did not have feet, and they never recovered the feet. Now that's not on Facebook. That's not in the news. That's not reported anywhere. You can't cold read that, because there's those in the magic industry who can cold read. And they say, psychics, you're just cold reading people. Well, tell me how to cold read somebody about the feet of their dead daughter being destroyed by a train. So one of my gifts is to see, I can also relive people's death, and I can see what happens when they die. I can go forward in their timeline and see their future. I can go back and see their past. Are you ready to hang up on me yet?
I'm into me personally, I'm into very esoteric skills. Like, I think it's kind of amazing. I would love to see it in action. We ain't gonna see it today, but that'd be dope.
Well, that's the thing. If you want to see it in action, look me up on YouTube, and you'll see me doing my audition video about the island Roanoke in Virginia and what happened to the first settlers. Because what did happen to those first settlers is the boat came, put a whole lot of people into the area. They started colonizing the area. The boat left. It comes back, and all the people are gone, but the housing was there. The evidence of, cooking was there, but there was no people. And what actually happened was there were berries on the island which were hallucinogenic. And because the whole community would eat together, they all ate the berries, they all hallucinated and headed to a cliff and jumped off the cliff on the other side of the island. And those bodies were washed away. And of course, when the new settlers arrived, the next boatload arrived, they didn't know to go looking at that cliff. And so by the time they got to the cliff area and discovered it, the bodies were long gone. Sharks had eaten them. The bodies had been washed away. And then there's some other stories in there as well. There was a guy, if I remember, there was a guy that was drowned. I haven't watched the video for a while, and I recorded it back in 2012. But it's on YouTube. Just look me up on YouTube, you'll see it. It's about 16 minutes.
Definitely. So you talked about like a lot of things that people would know about you from watching videos like online, on YouTube, reading your book, your TV show. But name some things that people wouldn't know about you from the online world and what's accessible to the public.
I was teaching dancing for 6 years, but then most people know that anyway. I got second in the Australasian Championships at beginner level. I'm still friends with my very first dance partner. We were just dance partners. We did the champs together, and she's still one of my friends today.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. One of my other friends, she calls me Fred, as in Drop Dead Fred, because I'm her imaginary friend. And we've been friends for 17 years.
So she's you're her imaginary friend.
Well, I'm not. We're family now anyway. Might as well be family after 17 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fun things like that. I love cooking Thai food. I'm a very good Thai chef. I've actually done Thai cooking classes, and it was me and 10 women in the class.
It's a blessing.
When I was on the Gold Coast, I did a few months worth of cooking lessons, and I learned how to cook a really good curry, amongst other things. And I can make beautiful spring rolls and beautiful salads, and yeah.
Still like that. Versatile.
Well, I also make confectionery.
Confectionery.
I like making confectionery, yeah. Fudge, chocolate.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Desserts.
Dope. Wow.
And
I call it the interview with the amazing Jayc, because I knew you were going to give me a whole range of just talent and skill from what we were talking about before. And
and there is one other thing that you might want to know about me, was in 2015 I died. Yeah, I love that reaction. Yeah, I died. I was on the operating theatre table. My small intestine had burst, and it was leaking feces into my body, so I was poisoning myself. They put me, finally, after a day and a half in hospital, they finally put me in theatre. I have a scar from, we'll call it my bra line, you know where the bra goes.
right.
All the way down my belly, around my belly button, all the way down to where the pubic hair starts. They sliced me open. I actually screamed at them, for F's sake, cut me open and fix it, because I'm dying. And I could see on the way to theatre that I had death around me. Then during the operation, they had 5 surgeons working on me because they had to pull all my intestines out, clean them. I have 4 scars on my intestine, my small intestine. One goes all the way around, and there are 3 other slits. And when I died, I met Archangel Michael and 10,000 angels. I was taken to a room with 10,000 angels, and the thing that struck me most about them was their wings. They were the most, I liken them to Maleficent's wings, her white wings from the movie. My cat is being very naughty. Cleopatra, come here, boo-boo, come on. She wants some attention. Daddy's been on the phone. He's not giving me attention. So yeah, I liken them to Maleficent's wings. They've got those beautiful feathers and they're so detailed. But Michael gave me a really important message, and that I had to come back, and I had many lives to save. And so now, and it took me a while to go, well, how can I save people's lives? And it's actually really simple. I don't have to save their lives by being a surgeon. I just show them how to love and be loved.
Beautiful.
Because what then happens is their lives become fulfilled. And that's my whole mission in life, is to teach people about love and to show them the reality of love. It's raw, it's real, it's ego, it's humble, it's adventurous, it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's delicious, emotional love.
Definitely.
And when you touch somebody's heart and you put them into that place of love, they get into their body and they then realize how much more there is to their life. Most people sit up here in a place of fear. But when you're here in a place of love, that's when miracles happen.
Right. Beautiful. I think it would be dope just to finish on that note right there.
Exactly.
Wow.
There is one more tiny thing that I want to add. I'm a hug person, very tactile. My love language is hugs. And when I hug people, I run energy.
A lot of things you're saying I resonate with. That's funny.
And
I get what you're saying too. I get it.
And I will hug anyone, man, woman, child, animal, alien. I will hug anyone and everyone. Because we all need to hug those that we love.
It's truth. I love that, man. Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today.
No problem.
This has been incredible.
It was great to listen and understand your story and like where you come from. So many different places.
Well, like I said when we were messaging, I don't fit into one box. And so many people go, I have to fit into this box, and I'm so stressed, and I can't fit into this box. I need to fit into this box because, no, you don't. Get into a place of love, understand who you are, and live the miracle that is your life. And more miracles will appear for you. Don't be afraid. I can be talking to, well, today, for example, I was talking to a guy about DNS entries on a server. I was working with another client on a website. I was working with another client on self-confidence and making decisions. And now here I am on this call. And in between that, I do my normal things like buy groceries, feed the cat, play with her.
A lot of boxes.
But that's how you have a full life. You live every moment, because I already know what it's like to die.
Wow. I'm
not afraid of dying, and I'm not afraid of living either. And I'm definitely not afraid of loving. I love to live. I love to love.
Dope. Beautiful. All right. Take a breath. Soak it in. Great talking to you, man. Great.
Your head is just looks like it wants to explode.
No, I'm definitely taking it in and just relaxing and the information that you gave forth. Because a lot of lessons in the story you just told.
And that's the other thing. When people listen to what I speak, what I say, come here, baby, come on. When they listen to me, when you listen to it again, there is another layer. And you listen to it again, there is another layer. And listen to it again, there is another layer. I'm like Shrek with the onion story.
All right, well, before my head does explode, is there anything that you like to give away?
Look, if people want to either add me on Facebook and tell me that they've seen they've seen this video, I'll give them a PDF of my book. I'll send them the PDF. Happily send them the PDF of the book and they can have a read. This is available on Amazon, but the PDF, I mean, it's really light reading. You know, it's not hard to read this. So I'm quite happy to send the PDF to anyone that wants it.
Okay. And is there anything that you like to promote?
Look, let's just say invite people to get the PDF and to contact me. Okay. Because those that need to contact me will see this and they will. Alignment. Always. I always meet the exact person that I need to meet. Oh, rats, she jumped off. I was about to put Cleopatra on camera. Her tree sits next to my desk where it has her bed at the top of it. Mm-hmm. And so she sleeps next to me while I'm working. But today she just wants to play. But yeah, so look, the right people will see this. They will contact me and I will help whomever needs that help. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Don't be afraid of asking. Because somebody out there is really afraid to ask right now, and they need to ask. Gotcha. Because I can feel their heart is just, somebody's got it's like somebody's got a grip on their heart and they're stopping them from expressing themselves. Mm. So this is an external person. So there's two people. One person is holding on to somebody else's heart and they're not letting go. They're too afraid to let go. Mm. And somebody will get this message and understand that he's speaking about me.
Few things you said resonated with me. I'm gonna watch this interview over again. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on.
It was definitely a pleasure to have you, Jayc. Definitely.
And my cat is being very naughty.
All right.
The joy of parenting.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we're going to end this broadcast, and I'm going to talk to you later, Jayc.
No worries. Thanks so much.
All right.